What's up everyone and welcome back to another video. So today I'm going to be talking with my friend Zach Allen about sports card trading as well as Pokemon card trading. And if you guys do remember Zach from a previous video I did, I had Zach on the channel where we're talking about StockX and shoe flipping, selling shoes online. And this is something that if you're not familiar with sports cards, it's something I did back when I was around 10 to 12 years old, but it has now recently come back full swing. So if you've seen Gary Vee or influencers like Logan Paul or the rapper Logic or other celebrities, it's starting to come back full force. And I do think that someone, if you are knowledgeable in this, you could make a very decent living doing this full time. If you do want more interview style videos like this, let me know in the comment section below and make sure to like and subscribe. And also be sure to stay tuned to the end. We do open up some very expensive packs. Be sure to stick around for that as well, guys. See ya. Yeah, let's dive right into Pokemon. So basically, I'm going to give you guys a background of what's going on here. I have been following Zach. Like, he's been on the channel before. I've been following Gary Vee for a while. And I remember back Gary Vee was like, it was right around the time you started posting about cards. And Gary Vee kept posting about Pokemon. And I remember him saying, like, there are people that are good at catching trends. And Gary Vee, I think, is one of those. And he's like, Pokemon, he's like, I think it's going to be like this rare art form. Like, it's going to be considered more of like this art in the future. And I was just like, whoa. And then I saw you posting about it. And then there was this other kid on Instagram. And I was like, I have to get into this. I have to do this. Like, I'm compelled at this point. And it was just this last Friday, I made a fairly large purchase. Here I am. And now I'm like, Zach, like, I know you're flipping cards. To give you guys, to speed you up, I'm like, I want you to just come on and like talk about it. So like, yeah, let's go ahead and start with Pokemon, right? Like, then we can go ahead and talk about sports and stuff.
Well, do you want to like dive into like what you bought, or at least what got you into it? Was it strictly just like Gary Vee talking about it, or was there something else that was like kind of like a precursor of, okay, let me actually do my due diligence, do my homework, and actually look and see, okay, what I want to start with as far as Pokemon? Because I feel like when you reach out and DM me on Instagram, you were kind of like had an idea already in play. Where did that come from?
I think for me, and I think for a lot of people, it takes 2 to 3 times for it to cross your path before it really resonates with you. And so that Gary Vee one was just stop number 1. And then that a couple of other guys. But there's this 18-year-old I follow on Instagram, and his name is Otson or something. Like, really cool kid. Like, he's a really cool guy. Maybe I'll link him somewhere down below. But anyway, I was like, I saw like these investments he was making, and I'm like, oh my God, like, this is insane. This is absolutely insane. And so that whole week, I'm just researching. I'm like, what's going on? I was like watching all these YouTubers do unboxing videos, and I'm like, I have to get into this. My original plan was to buy some packs or something. But then I stumbled across this guy, and he's like, you want to buy boxes? And then you said you want to buy boxes, and I'm like, I'm buying a box. And I found this super minty fresh booster box on eBay for $35K. And I was submitting them offers all week. I'm like, 29, 31, 33. I was literally messaging you as I was submitting those offers. It was like nail biting to me. And I messaged the guy, and he's like, he gets me to Instagram. He has this huge Instagram following centered around Pokemon. He works with like Justin Bieber, Logan Paul, like some top end guys. And he's like, look, dude, I'm going to be real with you. That minty box that you have that you want to buy, it's not for sale. Like, I can probably get 50 for this around Christmas. But he's like, I do have this base green wing box, which is just like the booster box, but it's got this different variant on it. Guys, I bought this box for $30K. One confirms the whole market over the weekend blew up. Booster boxes that were originally $25K are now $42. My green wing, one confirmed sale went for $70. The cheapest one on eBay right now is $165. I could probably get 50, 55 for it right now off rip, like not even trying with my eyes closed. It is absolutely insane, and it makes me regret not buying more, but hey, it is what it is. And now all day yesterday, I was trying to lock down some deals, down about $40,000 in Pokemon deals. That's kind of where we're at, man. So yeah, riding the wave.
How far along those next deals are you? Have you actually closed?
Yeah, so the 15K deal, I have to go in after this right here. I'm going to go wire him the money. And then the $22,000 deal, we actually paid the guy. And now I didn't tell you this, man, but he actually was like, or he did refund us. And he's like, PayPal has some issues because we were doing it off of eBay. And so, yeah, like we're like, hey, man, when it comes to the wiring or whatever, like we can just wire you the money. So I'm just like trying to figure this out. I'm like, what's going on here? So I and that took all day to close that. So it's super frustrating, but maybe we'll figure something out. So that's kind of where we're at on that.
And it's been super exciting just because you've been hitting me up on Instagram, and it's just every time I'm reading something, I'm just like my face is right now. I'm just in pure shock and excitement. I'm literally driving my wife absolutely crazy. Do you realize what Kris is doing right now? It's like, it's so mind blowing to me because like, I don't know how big into Pokemon cards you were as a kid.
A little bit, yeah.
I collected just the original first generation Pokemon, and I was probably 6, 7, 8, 9 years old in that time, right? And it's so cool, and even with like sports cards, which I'm pretty heavy into right now, it's so cool that we're able to relive those moments now, as well as make some little extra income on the side. It's pretty wild.
Yeah, it's definitely like two double-edged sword nostalgia, and you get to make some money. Exactly.
We haven't talked about this too much, but obviously you've been buying boxes, sealed boxes with Pokemon. Have you looked into buying like any individual like graded cards at all?
Yeah, so I want to get into like pretty much, I think at this point, if I were to buy any graded cards, it seems like from like the research I've done, Charizard is like the gold standard, and it's just the safest place to put your money. My personal favorite Pokemon is Snorlax. I did not win that auction. It's like this giant bear cat that just sleeps and eats. Like I just resonate with that. It's like, I mean, it's just he's always been my favorite Pokemon. And then Blastoise, I would say that's probably, now for me, I did see these first edition graded cards. It was a couple weeks ago. The guy was like 10 of them or something like that. It was like for 5K. He had 2 available. He sold one. One went up to 10K. He bumped it up to 10K after the first one sold, and then the second one sold. They could be worth 20 right now. So I kind of, regret not pulling the trigger on that. But
you definitely need to find a Snorlax. That'd be kind of just for
like, I feel like it would be like
I mean, I'm not going to say you're going to make money off of it, because
no, of course not. Yeah, I don't know.
It's going to actually do. It may go up, $5. It may go up 500. Who knows?
And it may go down.
I invested like mine into one of the cards I bought was just a first edition Cubone, graded out of 10.
Nice.
That was my favorite as a kid, and so like it's cool because like I even picked that up like somewhere between like 3 to 5 weeks ago. I paid no more than $100. I want to say like maybe $80. And I checked yesterday, the last sale I think was at $335, and it's just like that's basically a month turnaround, and it's incredible. Like it's been wild. It's same thing with like what basketball cards have done, and even soccer in a short amount of time is the spikes that we're seeing right now it's so explosive. It's wild.
What made you get into this? Because I know that it was like all of a sudden, I think it was like February. Is that right? Or I just started seeing it on your stories more. And I was like, with sports cards, or maybe it was Christmas time, right? Was it? I don't know.
I think and obviously I don't post all too often, but I've probably been into it the past 2 years. I started probably posting about it last September, October, maybe about a year ago.
Gotcha. Okay.
I really feel like from October of last year, as like the NBA season started, up until January, February, it was a pretty slow, steady growth. And then pre-COVID quarantine, it continued to spike like crazy. I'm by no means an expert like when it comes to sports cards. It's just something that, as a kid growing up, I've probably entered and re-entered the hobby 4, maybe 5 times. So I have pretty good knowledge, but I haven't like really been in it since probably the 2012, 2013 maybe. And yeah, it's been absolutely wild just to see who all's coming into the hobby from influencers, whether that's sports cards or with Pokemon. But when I got back in, like I started posting about like September, October, I didn't know all too much about like the new sets, but I obviously knew what players to collect. So that's kind of where I started. And so that's kind of like my approach when it comes to cards in general, is go after what I know, learn their cards, learn their card market, and then kind of make my buying decisions from there. So for example, like one of my main players that I started collecting right away was LeBron, all-time favorite player. And then with this last year's rookie class, like John Morant, who's a guard for the Memphis Grizzlies. And just like from their two cards, like a couple of them, but just from those two players from October to February, it made quite a bit of money. And that was pretty wild. And so I've just been, consumed with it a couple hours a day each week. So
that's awesome. So when you're spending a couple hours a day each week, are you just researching? Like, I know that you've even sent me some sites to use for Pokemon research, right? So like, what are some of the sites? What does that consist of for you?
So again, I don't use too many resources other than eBay, just looking at past solds. Like if a seller took like an offer, and sometimes on eBay you can't see what that offer was, what that price that he accepted was. So one of the resources I use is called sellthepeak.com. And so that it's able to show you on the back end like what was the actual sales price. Other than that, that's really like the only two things that I use. StockX, which is big with sneakers, collectibles, some jewelry. They have started going into sports cards within this past year. So they don't have obviously every card on there. And they don't do enough volume to see a lot of trends. But if you go like after some of the main cards, or like the main rookie cards of a certain player, there is like enough volume so you can actually like look and see a graph. So you can see when it's actually spiking, when it's dropping, that sort of stuff. So visually, I love looking at StockX as well.
I guess, how did you get so sophisticated with this? Just like continual research and just like...
Yeah, just continual research. That's literally all it is. Because and you see this with every single person in any market, right? You start something, whether it's real estate, whether it's Pokemon cards, sports cards, whatever it is. It's like, okay, what do I buy? Like, that's always the question. It's they're looking around and say, okay, what do I buy? But like the answer is literally like you can buy a million different things. And especially with the market, you can probably make money with a million different cards. So figure out what you actually want to learn about. So do you want to learn about certain players? Do you want to learn about certain sets? So like for basketball, like the main one is Prism. There's a few others, Select and Optic being the top three. So do you want to learn about one of those three sets? Maybe it catches your eye like more visually, because obviously they have different designs. Do you want to learn about like inserts or like higher end cards, autos, anything like that? So I would say start there and kind of figure out like what you want to buy from there.
And are all sports created equally, or is there a sport that's better than another? Or
with sports cards, like basketball is king. It's been king for quite some time now. I know, like way back when it was all about baseball cards. That's usually baseball is what I grew up with. But I remember being like 10 or 11 years old, like basketball started to like really take over. I don't know like yearly, because like I've always kind of collected what I've wanted to collect or to collect. And so like 2000s, I was heavy into basketball, then I switched over to baseball. But right now, basketball is definitely king. The other sports are there though. Like you've seen, like with the NFL this year, the NFL market is usually driven by quarterbacks. And this year, with the influx of people into the hobby, you have been seeing people buy receivers and running backs a whole lot more than you ever have.
Wow. Yeah, and that's kind of what I was wondering too. Like, I personally collected baseball. And so, I mean, between the ages of like 10 and 12, that's literally all I did. Was I spent every penny on baseball cards. And I still have them. Like, when I go home next, I'm probably going to dig through them and just see like, hey, is it worth getting anything graded? Which that leads me to my next topic is can you talk about grading and what that is? And do you ever just buy cards specifically to get graded? Do people do that? Or...
Yeah, they absolutely do. And that's actually, I got a whole stack. Now you say that right here. I have about, I'd say 50, maybe 60 cards right here in the stack. And these are all cards that I bought off eBay. specifically to send in for grading. So hopefully, I'm getting 9s and 10s on most every single card in there. That's, when you send it off to grade, like that's the idea is to increase the value, increase like the appeal of that card. So the company that is like kind of like the king in that is PSA. There are some other companies, BGS, which is Beckett, which you may remember from like growing up, like especially with their magazines. They're, I think, in a lot of people's eyes, I've seen as like the second top tier grading company, or the other top tier grading company. And then there's some other ones that you'll see on eBay all the time that, especially for if you're like new into hobby, I would say just basically just kind of stay away from it. I think I got about another 15 or so cards coming from eBay over the weekend, early next week. I have a mega box of Optic basketball from this year. So it has like the Zion, the Ja Morant, their rookie class. And so I'm probably going to open it, even though I'm going to probably lose money off of it. Hopefully I can get like maybe 2 or 3 cards just from that box to go in with that grading submission. Hopefully get that out.
And how much does grading cost?
That I don't know off the top of my head, because with COVID, they have increased prices. So I don't know like everything off the top of my head. It's generally, I think it's anywhere from like $10 to $15 a card.
Oh, that's not bad. I wasn't sure if it was going to be.
That's with doing bulk, and you have to be a member with PSA, which I think it's like $60 a year for that.
Okay.
So that's one reason why I'm sending it in bulk, because I think it's when it's over 50 cards, that's when it gets that like $10 to $15 per card.
And then that way just cut your costs down. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. The one negative thing right now with PSA is like submissions. I think like the 45-day submission. That's how like they like the title of like their service is like taking anywhere from like 3 to 6 months return, just because of how many people have been entering the hobby, people buying cards just to grade and turn around and flip them, trying to make some money that way. So grading, I think on the most part, I've been seeing like 5 to 6 months turnaround. So like all these cards here that I've bought, I'm buying them to grade. Let's say I have 60 cards in this stack. I'd say around 10 to 12 of those cards are like long-term investments for me. Like I have like a couple Kobe Bryant, like his main rookies, a few like Kevin Durant, Luka Doncic, like some of their main rookies. And then I have some other cards in like I want to turn around and flip just to kind of pay for that submission.
Gotcha. Okay, I like it. Like you're like diversifying your
right. That's the way I think about it when I grade. Obviously, other people do it just mainly to flip, or if you have the capital, if you just want to do it as an investment, like obviously that works. That works as well.
That's awesome, dude. Do you still have any of your cards from when you were a kid at all, or do you?
I was gonna bring that up a second ago. Like you said, you're going back home and like checking out. I have a few. Like I said, I've been in and out of this hobby several times. In the mid 2000s, like when I was in high school, I was big into sports cards, but I was more so in the memorabilia side. So I
remember that the memorabilia used to be so big. It was like
I've always collected what I wanted to collect. So like I was a big baseball guy during those years. I was a huge Cleveland Indians fan. So I was always trying to get any player that I could, like an on-card auto, like in person.
Coco Crisp is one of my favorite players, dude.
Cavelli, yeah, all-time great, man. Yeah, what sucks is like, so I did that for like all through high school. Like the job that I had, that's where every dollar went, was to finding like the Jim Thome autograph card, Brandon Phillips autograph card. I was a huge Grady Sizemore, which was like a little bit like later 2000s.
Okay.
But when I think that was like 2007, 2008, and then like around 2012, I took everything out of the attic one day, and it's like I sold like 90% of it. Just as like, okay, I'm gonna get a little bit of money. So I don't have much. I have a few like autographed baseballs that are downstairs. Nothing like too crazy. Like my favorite one is like a Bob Feller. He's a Hall of Famer with the Cleveland Indians. Like in the 60s. Like I have like one of his autographs. I don't have too much more. I had a bunch of Kobe Bryant rookies that I actually found right after he passed away earlier this year. And I'm actually sending 2 of those off to grading.
Wow.
They've been in the attic forever. I think one, like I'm not, like, because it's an older card, it's 96, 97 or so. Because it's an older card, I'm not expecting a 10. I think one might be like an 8 or a 9. The other is probably like a 6 or a 7. Which, you know,
Man,
8 or a 9 on that card, and it's like one of his main rookies. That would be really cool to see. And then I have a handful of his other ones. Like those have been like really the only ones I've like been able to find and kind of reminisce on. It's cool.
Man, that's sick. Yeah, like I said, I still have the majority of my cards, I believe. Yeah, I still have the majority of them. Did I ever tell you the story though about that, like a card I made like $1,200 on? Did I ever tell you that? Dude, it was so crazy. It was absolutely insane. It was like back in 2012 actually. It was it's how I got familiar with like grading and stuff. I had this dream that I was this World War II soldier and we had just captured Hitler. This sounds crazy, I know. I swear to God, I'm not making this up. And like, I remember it was crazy. Like, I'm getting ready to open up the drawer. Like, we're all like getting treasures. And right before I open up the drawer, I wake up and I'm like, okay. I was going to auctions at the time. Like, I was going to auctions, and it was 3 days later, I came across this like they had some Nazi stuff posted, and I got these chills, and it reminded me of the dream. And I'm like, whoa, like, this is weird. And, I hit up my mom and I'm like, Mom, do you want to go to this auction that's like 3 hours away? Like, do you want to just go? And so I researched the stuff before, like a bunch of stuff, and I only buy a couple of things, but one of the things they have these cards, Red Grange, a University of Illinois football player from the 1920s. And there's 10 of them. And my max bid was going to be $75. And I bid, it was 70. And then they're like, you get to pick any of these 10 cards. I didn't know which one I was going to pick. So I just randomly, I pick this card. Turns out, though, it's like the only one I can't find. It's like turns out it's the holy grail of the entire deck. And I send it down to get grading, and they're like, hey, like, there's like 4 of these in existence. And, you know, we don't even know what it's worth. They're like, it could be worth like $500 to $700, but we don't know. So I threw it up on eBay for $1,500, and someone wanted it immediately for $1,200. So I'm like, okay, I probably could have got more out of it.
Probably were ecstatic, but at the same time, I'm sure you're like,
I was like, yeah, because I mean, $1,200. I was 22 years old. I mean, $1,200 to me back then was like 15 or 20 grand now. Like, it was like I was making like $10 an hour, if that. Like, I think maybe it was like 8 or 9. It was just a crazy. Yeah, that was like my first taste into like card reselling, but then I never kind of pursued it after that. You think I would have, but that's my card story. That's my only.
That would make you hungry for it. I don't have any big flips like that.
Hey, you know, sometimes like small and steady.
Well, yeah, I mean, absolutely is. Like, I made like, I mean, not like a killing or anything over the past year. But I mean, most people, like, if you've been in the hobby even if you've been in the hobby for 4 months, you've more than likely made money, you know, unless you bought something at the very peak, which that may have happened to some people about a month and a half ago. I'm trying to think, like, made quite a bit of money on like a bunch of Pat Mahomes rookie cards leading up to the Super Bowl last year. Nothing like crazy. I think one was like maybe $200. I think my biggest flip of the past year, it was it's a silver Ja Morant. So a Ja Morant rookie, it's a silver prism. So it's like the silver variation or silver parallel of his like main rookie card that everybody chases. And I bought it raw, like one of the first ones that hit eBay. I want to say like $70 maybe. And at the time, like people, and I usually don't buy like new product like that, like right away. And people were saying, you know, when something like hits eBay, like the first day, like with the first time like a product hits eBay, like don't buy it, let the price come down. And I'm like, screw that. I'm a big fan of Ja Morant. I'm gonna buy it. So I bought it for like 70, and this would have been somewhere around like Thanksgiving last year. And by the end of January, it hit $430. I'm like, okay, I'm selling this. Like, this is in my head at the time, it was worth way too much money. It wasn't graded. It was just raw. It was in good condition, but I know it would not have graded a 10. Like, it was off center quite a bit. But other than that, condition was great. And I'm like, okay, do I want to try to grade this and get probably a 9? Or just go ahead and sell it? So I sold it. And which I haven't looked at prices on that card maybe once this entire year, a couple of months ago. But raw for that card, it might have been like midsummer, was less than it was like in January, maybe early February when I sold it. So I was like, man, I timed that absolutely perfectly. So that was what, maybe $320 profit, I'd say, like
Yeah.
after everything. But like that
Man, that's
was, you think
sick.
about that, like that was from Thanksgiving. It's like probably last week of November.
Yeah, for really just like holding it. Yeah.
And then I had a bunch of his other like cards that I sold that obviously didn't make as much money, but I was buying a lot more raw like this time last year. And now
Okay.
I'm either buying raw to grade, or I'm buying graded cards already.
Where do you see this going? Is it a bubble? And what's your strategy going forward? Like, kind of interested on that.
I'm personally not interested in like having that opinion of like, is it a bubble, is it not? I'm going to react, like, and play it based off of that. If it is a bubble, if it does burst, I'm going to be buying, you know what I mean?
Yep.
I don't have a lot of like these selling stories because I haven't sold like most of my cards. I'm buying a lot of cards that I believe in long term. Like I do believe in Ja Morant, but at the same time, like I will say he's a gamble, right? He's a rookie was the rookie of the year, has had a great year, but he is not an all-time great yet. He could be, and that could be an incredible gamble because I have, several of his cards that are like graded out of a 10. But he could also be the guy that turns into like the next Grant Hill, who everybody thought was going to be Michael Jordan, but then dealt with injuries his entire career. I don't know what the Grant Hill card market looks like, but it's obviously nowhere close to Michael Jordan, nowhere close to like Kobe Bryant, people that were around his era, you know what I mean? So what I say, like, there's a million people like jumping into the hobby, and they're going to collect like who they want to collect and who they want to believe in. But at the end of the day, like, if you're buying to invest, which is like mainly what I'm doing, anywhere from 6-12 months, like in the short term, really longer than that, but even 6 to 12 months is okay. Do you believe in this person long term? Because it is a gamble. Like there's no real difference than, betting on the Lakers and Heat in game 1 of the finals. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you think the Lakers are going to win. It's still a gamble. You don't know what's going to happen. Excuse me. So what like my strategy has been is looking for like undervalued cards. And obviously that's with a ton of research. So I'm looking at players maybe that are all-time greats, and I'll give you one. Like all-time great in my eyes was Kevin Durant. I don't know if you noticed or ever saw this. Gary Vee did post about that, so that's why I'm bringing that up. He posted about it a couple months ago, and his card market finally exploded to what the level it should have been, right? Like he was, to give you in comparison, like his rookie cards were like significantly lower than Kawhi or Giannis or some of like the other like Hall of Fame caliber players, but have not had like the resume of Kevin Durant has had. You know what I mean? So I'm like, okay, Kevin Durant cards for like at the time $2,000 less, maybe $1,500 less. Like and they're hard cards to grade. They're older. I think his rookie year was 2007, whereas like Giannis 2012, 13, one of those 2 years. Like, who would you rather have? Now, Kevin Durant's coming off an injury, so that may have played a big part. So he's not in the spotlight. He's not on ESPN every single day. He's not being interviewed every single day. But that's like been my strategy: is one, finding undervalued cards, and two, like if I don't believe in a card or don't believe in a player long term, is finding a strategic time to sell to then move my money into like those players. So like, for example, specifically I bought last night or the night before, I bought a LeBron James rookie card. And that is strictly from the profits of selling off some of like this year's rookie class that, they could become incredible players, but they just had great runs. For example, like Tyler Hero in the NBA finals with the Heat, 20-year-old rookie, has had, a sensational postseason run. Sold him at what I think is going to be his peak, especially for the next few months, and then just took that money in and put it into LeBron, who, that's a 5, 10, 20-year investment for me.
That's awesome. I think that's like, it's practically free. And I think that's so important too with anything like this, with investments or whether it's stocks or whatever, you putting it in something you believe in if you're going to hold it.
One more thing I do want to add, kind of, because I don't know if I completely answered your question about the bubble part. Like the 90s, and I know a lot of people always bring this up, like the 90s had the junk wax era where they're printing way too many cards.
Yep.
eventually, like, it's supply and demand. If they're printing way too many cards, like what's going to happen to the prices? That's what a lot of people's like fear is right now, is Panini, which has like Panini within basketball is like the main card maker. And they have like, the Prism, Optic, Select, and they have some slightly lower tier cards as well. Is every year they're printing more and more cards. So for example, and I'm going to probably get these numbers wrong, but the past 2 years, the main card that people are chasing is a Luka Doncic rookie card, right? It's talked about on every single sports card basketball podcast for like the past 2 years, right? Last time I checked, there were 12,000 cards that were, I can't remember, it's 12,000 cards graded or 12,000 cards that are graded of a 10 out of 10. But regardless, like that's a lot when you start to look at some other players. So like that, the LeBron James card that I bought, I think, and I'm probably gonna get these numbers wrong, but I think there's only 3,000 cards or so, maybe 5,000 cards that are graded at 10, right? So like long term, which would you rather have? And people think like, what's going to happen with the population of that LeBron James card graded at 10 over the next 10 years? It's going to maybe slowly increase, but most of those cards have been in circulation for such a long time. So the likelihood of them being in great condition to descend into grading at a 10 is very low. Versus Luka Doncic was a rookie in 2018. So those cards are barely 2 years old now. And, they're still being boxes and packs being sold where people can work and people can pull those like fresh, you know what I mean? So one thing that I've also been doing is I have a lot of those Luka Doncic Prism cards. Is I've been taking like that similar card, selling it to invest in like a parallel of that card that may be harder to find. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that does make sense. And I mean,
if the Luka price does go down, it's going to go down in theory a lot more on that base Prism versus like the blue parallel or the silver or whatever else you have. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that does make sense. Well, and is there any incentivization like for these card companies to not make a bunch? Like they're not making any money off of the back end, off the secondhand card market, right? Am I wrong here? Like, wouldn't it just be like, let's just make as many cards as we can people are willing to buy?
So I'm thinking the same thing like with shoes, for example, right? Like what is going to be like the future that like Nike and Adidas or Topps or Panini, like what are they going to do in the future? I do think, and this is maybe a hot take, I do think in the future, with a lot of products, I think we like the idea of a retail price may go out the door. And I think a lot of products, and you're starting to see this with, I think Panini's been doing this. It's called like a Dutch auction, where they'll release it on their website, and they'll slowly, I don't know exactly how it works, but every hour they'll drop the price until the supply sells out. So they'll sell boxes.
That's so smart. Oh my God.
But it's going to drive a lot of people crazy, because like the future of sports cards market is always going to be driven like 20, 30, 40 years from now is going to be driven by the youth, right? In my opinion, right? It's why I think we're seeing such a surge now, as you're seeing those guys 25 to 50 years old, who grew up in the 80s and 90s with their baseball cards start to actually have money now. So that is like one possible drawback that I do see. I'm not saying I'm for it or against it. I mean, time will tell. There's obviously a lot of people that are a lot more knowledgeable than I am. But it's interesting. Like I think one day, I think Nike or Adidas may experiment with that. If they release a limited shoe that maybe they're going to release it at $500 and see, does it sell out at that price?
Yeah, that's interesting. That's really, I'm interested to see how that. I think it would just be overall for the better for the card market too. If there was like this set, finite, probably lower supply, rather than just like, oh, they're just printing out, who knows how many. I don't know.
I've definitely heard with like those Dutch auctions a lot of criticism from it.
Okay.
I know in the long term, I haven't seen too many like.
I mean, there's two. It's not as easy. It's not as accessible for like like that 10-year-old that wants to buy a pack of cards. Like it's just not as accessible. Like who knows how much some of this stuff's selling for. So, and then that would end up hurting the. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I'm interested to see how it goes. I guess to kind of wrap up here, what else you got cooking, man? What else you got going on back there? I know you're still, last time I had you on the channel, you were flipping shoes. Clearly you're still flipping shoes.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I'm sure everybody is dealing with this right now, like with the year 2020 we've had. I have not had a normal day since February, probably. So it's like every day is a little bit hectic. It's a whole lot of fun. I feel like 1 month, like obviously, like, so my main things that I'm selling is like Amazon, resale, wholesale some products, mainly like around, I'd say electronics is easily like my number one category, but there's like several other things I'm selling. And then other than that, it's shoes. And it's like during the entire summer where I think a lot of people hit Amazon hard, at least like in our, our sector. I did right at the beginning of COVID. And then I actually pulled back and went the other way. And I was basically just selling shoes left and right, more probably than I ever have. And so during this quarantine, I guess the early parts of COVID, when we were more quarantined, we weren't allowed in stores as much. Like outlets were shut down. I found like a lot of different ways to source shoes, and so that's mainly what I've been doing for the past few months. And then so it's October right now. I think the beginning of September, I started diving back into Amazon. So it's been a really hectic year for me, but it's been like the most incredible year outside of COVID, but most have been incredible year I've had in a long time. It's been cool.
That's awesome, man. I love hearing stories like that. And what a great time to be in just online business and, making money online. I feel like it's just literally the best time. Like, I think we met, it was like in a 2017 in some private label Amazon course or something. That first year for me was hard, but it all comes to fruition. Like this year, it was like everything was worth it. Like all of those.
So that was 2017. Remind me when you went full time.
February of 2017. So I went, so
that's when you went full time?
I went full time before I even knew about Amazon. Yeah, I was going full time off of what I knew from eBay. I was like, oh, I'm making this much like flipping video games off of eBay, like doing this 4 or 5 hours a night. Like imagine if I did this full time. And that's what kind of gave me the confidence on it. But obviously I didn't know what I was getting myself into.
That's cool for me to hear then, because I actually thought you went full time a little bit later. So I feel like me right now is maybe you around that time. I feel like that's kind of where I'm getting my momentum. I went full time, I guess August of last year. So I've been just finished my first year full time doing this.
Yeah, so you're a little past a year. How does it feel?
It's good. So I just moved into like a small 2-bedroom condo and have most of my inventory here, but this is like the most room I've ever had too. So it's like, I'm kind of looking at it. It's like, man, I need space, and I just moved in here and I need space bad. But it's like, I literally sit here every single day. I'm doing what I want every single day. I'm looking at sports cards for 2 to 3 hours a day. I gotta like sit back and be like, okay, this is a small 2-bedroom apartment, but this is the greatest thing I've ever had. I love it. And it's so cool to hear, like, to see what you've done over the past 3-4 years or so. And to see, like, for me, because that's one thing that's always held me back is I feel like I'm a big dreamer, but as far as like the action you take daily, I feel like sometimes I'm way too small. So sometimes to see it visually and to know someone like yourself that's been doing this for a while, like it's cool because it opens my eyes and see, okay, like this, I've come a far way in the past 2-3 years. Even farther in this past year, but just to know that like this thing can go and go and go. So that's been
yeah, man. I mean, I'm excited for you, dude. Like it's really, it's interesting to kind of see how everything unfolds. And I mean, even my progress in the last year, I'm just like, what is going on? Like this is absolutely awesome. I'm so grateful for it. Hopefully I can look back in another year and be like, wow, the progress is just the same. Are you in Tennessee still? I think I was talking to you, you were bouncing around there for a little bit. So are you in Tennessee?
Yeah, I just got married beginning of August.
Congrats, dude.
Appreciate it. Yeah, so I've been back a year. Basically since the time I went full time, I moved down here, so just over a year now. And yeah, so living in Tennessee kind of stinks for the sneaker part of my business because there's not a lot here that I can go out and do. There's not as many connections where I was previously in Detroit, and there was just like so many connections. Obviously I'd been there for several years, but I had so many connections, so many stores. So that's another reason of why like my business as far as sneakers have gone has kind of taken a detour, and how I'm buying and selling shoes. So as of right now, it's been mainly all online.
Hey, you pivot, and you go.
That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah, that's what we do, man. That's what, entrepreneurs do. So, yeah, man. Well, I appreciate it, dude. Thank you so much for coming on the show. It was awesome. Like the channel, I appreciate it. And yeah, we'll talk soon.
Yeah, man. Pleasure. Anytime I get the chance to talk to you. So thank you.
So when we weighed it, it was 20.65. And I got my little scale right here. Super nifty, super sick. Yours was 20.65. Mine was 20.78. So like, it wasn't like the heavy where, like I've got a heavy pack up there and it's like 21.1. You know what
21,
I mean?
Okay. That's what I was thinking is about 21. So I think we have good chance we don't have hollows.
Yep.
Which is cool.
Yep. That's kind of what I'm thinking too.
And so there's a few things I'm trying to look up before we like get on video, obviously. Have you, and this is what I'm trying to remember. I think do you know how to like open Pokemon packs? I don't know if the newer ones do this.
I'm recording right now, but our editor, like the editor guy,
got you.
It. So I do not know how to open them. No.
So like, when you open it, like obviously, like I have my pack here, right? And so like this will be the front. So when it's facing me, or how is it? No, okay. So the Wigglytuff is gonna be the front of the card, right? So this is the back. So the front's gonna be facing you. So you'll actually see what Pokemon card's on here. So when you open it, sorry for my heavy breathing. When you open it, you take the top 3 off and then put them on the front.
So the top 3, like when the cards are facing you?
So like the card right now is facing you. Yep. The back of the card is facing me.
Yep.
So I'm gonna take the top 3 off and place it underneath that 4th card. And I'm gonna look this up to double check. The 4th card should be what is the rare or potentially the hollow.
Oh, and that's why it's the last one. That's why the guy. You're right. When I watch people do this, that's what they do.
I'm gonna pull up a video real quick just to double check that that's the right number. And I'm pretty sure it's the same for every, like, at least the original cards. I don't know about the new ones, but I think they all kind of have that, whatever that's called.
First edition jungle. Let's go.
This isn't first, by the way.
Oh, it's not. It's just base.
Just regular, yeah.
Just regular. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So I'm looking at it. So if you bought it at 130, then that means we should be about, like, you've basically doubled. I think they're going for about 220 to 260
for the regulars. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think like the heavy packs may be over 300. I haven't looked in about a week or so.
How can you tell if it's first edition or not?
So on the Wigglytuff, if you see the Pokeball, do you see the
I see it. Yeah.
The little glare. I think, is it right there?
Yeah, you're right. I'm looking at a first edition one right now. Yep. Is it Wigglypuff? I think I put in Jigglypuff.
Wigglytuff.
Oh, Wigglytuff. Here we go. Looks like that was heavy, so that one sold for.
These look like they're not okay. So a few of the ones that are still like factory sealed with like the cardboard, not just the pack, but like it's like plastic to the cardboard, or like in the 350, 360 range.
I found one right here. Looks like it's sold for 180. So, I mean, 110 it's a great pickup. This one sold non-first edition for 258 on November 1st. So 258. Let's see, that one sold for 200. So, yeah, I mean, this one sold with the artwork for 360.
Here's one Wigglytuff yesterday. Yeah, yesterday that was bidded at 338.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, either way, I think 110 is a great.
That is a heavier one.
Oh yeah, I see which one you're looking at.
Scyther doesn't have a weight, and that one is at 225. So yeah, I'd say conservatively, I still think this one's around. I'd say anywhere from 200 to 240 ish.
Okay, no, that's sick. Yeah, no, this is nice little buy-in. So it wasn't like.
Yeah, I'd say with our weight, I'd say we're about 220.
Okay, not bad.
But yeah, 220 to 240, I would say. They're kind of like all over the place, and I'm sure that's all really
like
dependent
probably
on
like
weight.
We got like 40% discount basically. So
yeah,
not too bad. Yeah, I mean, I guess, and it is.
I'm not gonna lie, dude. I'm a little nervous with this.
Right, I know. I'm like trying to. I know when I open mine up, I'm like, okay, like hopefully I'd like to save the wrapper. You know what I mean? I'd like
Yeah,
to save the
absolutely.
wrapper.
I know I'm gonna like destroy this anyway. Did you already open yours?
Not yet, no.
Yeah, this is so weird. Like, I don't know why. I'm kind of nervous, like holding that up, like just
Let's
handling
see.
it.
I think I got a good one. Oh wait, let me put mine down. I got a good break on mine.
Yeah, I'm trying to do this without destroying the Wigglytuff artwork. There we
2,
go.
3, 4. So it's the fourth one or the third one I put on the front?
Put the first 3 on the front. So that fourth card should be the rare, potentially hollow.
Okay, cool. Okay. Looks like mine have some nick. Like one of my cards has some nicks on it.
Yeah, I definitely have a lot of whitening.
Is that common with packs this old?
Yes and no. I mean, obviously you're gonna always have it.
Okay,
There's
well
some
you go
packs,
ahead.
and you'll even notice like when you go through, some packs will have better centering than the others. And every pack's just a little bit different.
Well, you can go ahead and go first, man. And
All right, so I got you. You want to go? You do the whole pack?
or we can take turns.
Okay, so I got a Ride On.
Is Ride On solid?
I like the artwork. I don't know value wise. I don't know everything, honestly.
Okay, you want me to go ahead and show you one of mine now? Or
Yeah,
you
go
wanna...
ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead. We'll go back and forth.
I got Butterfree.
Butterfree. I like Butterfree. So these are non-first edition. So these are just the unlimited jungle booster pack.
Yep.
So real quick, the cards I'm looking for, Cubone is my favorite.
Oh yeah, I remember you saying that.
So I'm looking for a Cubone, Eevee, Pikachu. Again, these are lighter packs, so we're not really expecting any hollows or anything. Scyther, probably one of my all-time favorites, and of course Snorlax. So I got Marowak.
Okay.
So this is the evolution of Cubone.
Okay, cool. Here is Tauros. I'm a Taurus,
Nice.
so all right.
There you go. So I got a Seeking. I liking the centering on these. They look pretty good.
Here is my next one. What is it? It's
it's not focusing. Dodrio.
Yep. Okay.
Awesome. So I got a Nidoran.
Okay. Here we go. Here's the next guy.
There we go. Nidoran as well.
Oh wow. Okay.
So I got a Sparrow.
Okay.
So that one's starting to look a little off-centered on mine. It looks like the next one is a tad bit better.
This one is Venonat.
Nice. I love that one. So I had Ride On, so now I have Rhyhorn. So Rhyhorn is going to evolve into Ride On.
Okay. Here is Mankey.
I like Mankey. All right, so this is a pretty decent one. Not great, obviously, but I have Meowth.
Oh, nice.
So if you watch any of the original cartoon, it's one of the main characters, especially for Team Rocket. Ooh, nice.
Here's Sparrow.
Sparrow as well. One thing I do like about this pack is like the regular base packs. I think this one only has like one of like the energy cards or the trainer cards. I can't remember. Where like the booster ones have like I think 3. Could be wrong on that, but it's like a Jigglypuff, always a fan favorite.
Nice. Jigglypuff. And then I got a Meowth too.
Nice. And then I have a Goldeen. Do you have a Goldeen? I had a Seeking, so that's what I had.
Did you have a Rhyhorn as well?
Yeah. Oddish.
Okay.
One of my least favorite.
I have to go with the group guy, Execute.
Nice. All right, so I think this is my last one right here.
I think this is my last one too.
Yeah, so I got Oddish and a Pinsir.
Okay, my last one is Flareon.
Ooh, that's gonna be that's obviously the best pull of the day.
I think so.
It's non-hollow, correct?
No, not hollow.
Yeah, that's definitely the best.
Centering looks
How's
a
the centering look?
little.
So if you look at the yellow border going around, check left and right. So does it look like it's pretty even on both sides?
It looks like it's a little bit. It looks a little off. It looks a little
Yeah,
off.
I'm looking at my pincer. Mine's slightly heavy on the left hand side, and then check top to bottom as well, and you can check the back side.
Top and bottom is not terrible. And there's one tiny nick in the top right corner. One tiny nick. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess I'm not 100% familiar with gradings, but like I still think it might be a solid grading though.
I have a few. I'm just checking the backs of mine. A lot of them do have the whitening. I have one or two that look pretty dang good though. Obviously, I don't know if I'll grade all of these, but there's definitely a few that like I don't even, it's not that I even care about the grade. I just kind of want it in a graded case and kind of
Is that common that
display it in a future man cave.
Is that common that we both didn't get any energies or trainers?
I could be wrong. It's been years since I've looked into this. I thought there was one. No, it may not be in every pack, but I think there's. See if I can remember this. I believe there's 64 cards in Jungle. I may be getting Jungle and Fossil confused. 64 in Jungle, 62 in Fossil. And I want to say there's only one card that is that trainer / energy, and I can't remember what it would be. Probably should have done a little bit more research.
Okay, well then that would make sense then. Cards that we get that were the same. We got
quite a few, yeah.
There were like 2 or 3, I think. Sparrow, Meowth, and Rhyhorn. No, this is cool. I'll look up. I think I'm gonna research which ones I want to get graded, and see kind of like what are they going for. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, I do have that. I have that heavy base pack, but it's the heavy base unlimited pack. But I guess I'm just gonna. I don't know. I mean. I know, and it's
the smart play is obviously to not open it.
What's the chances
to flip it?
I mean, because once the I'm trying to think. Like, I'd have to see what it's selling for. I personally think bases right now. What I might do is, because I think bases have room to run. Like, I think it's going to be a hot seller for Christmas. Like whether it's basically super rich people, whether it's like a company gift or whatever, I think it's going to be the one to go up in price even more come the holidays. And so it's like, obviously if the boxes go up, that means packs go up. So I don't know, I might open it up like as the price creeps up and then just sell off the cards and not get them graded and maybe keep like, I don't know if there's something really good in there, maybe get it graded. I don't know. I just have to research it.
It's a complete gamble to open it up, but God, I love opening packs.
Oh, me too.
There's like no grader. It doesn't like honestly matter. Like right there, like we didn't pull anything great. The Flareon, right, that you had, the Flareon is easily the best card pulled. It does have a hollow version.
Like I'm literally gonna look this up right now. Jungle, Flareon. Non-hollow. I mean, yeah, we're looking at this Flareon right here is worth. I'm trying to see it looks like this Flareon non-graded with light play sold for $10. So, wow. But if it gets graded though, it goes way up in price.
Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of and there already has been. There's gonna be a lot of just basic or common, I should say, common Pokemon cards that are going to be hitting eBay, and already has been hitting eBay, and you'll not obviously notice the condition on like 98% of them is going to be pretty bad.
Okay.
I've been going through, so I told you one of the sets I've been looking at is the original 96, kind of like the base cards, which are Japanese. So like yesterday I bought a Japanese Bulbasaur. I'm super excited. Condition looks I'm not gonna say flawless, but it's pretty close. I think it should be an easy 9. But wow. I'll see. Like I didn't see any whitening. Centering looks great, so I'm just gonna check the surface. If the surface is good, I think the thing has a chance out of 10. I haven't checked the Bulbasaur in that. I'm just looking at obviously I come from sneaker culture, and I think one of the biggest leaders in that culture is like the Japanese culture. And so you look at it with like anime and obviously with Pokemon, I think like they're really behind on the craze of Pokemon. So I don't know. I think it looks pretty good. I've been looking at some ungraded Charizards as well. it looked like there was a few ending around like $150, $200 yesterday. And I think even like potentially PSA 7, PSA 8. So I think even those could be like incredible plays.
I mean, I'm looking at some of these like from the price jump. Like, I don't know. It might be I might be getting all of these graded because I'm looking at the price jumps on some of these. Man, it is significant.
I'm looking at mine. I don't think I would have any 10s in here. And I don't know. Maybe these two look pretty good. I need to check the centering though. It also depends. Like I'm curious to see. That's another reason why I do want to grade them. Is I'm curious to see. Even the ones that have whitening. These are what 21-year-old cards or so. I'm curious to see how lenient they are on the whitening.
Yeah, like I've got 3 cards that have whitening on them, like just a little bit. And then in terms of centering now, it looks like centering is off on about 3 of them. So whitening on 3, centering is off on 3, and then these other 5, I mean, they're looking great. So I don't know. I mean, what'd you say? It's $15 a card?
I don't know the exact price right now. It's somewhere between $10 and $15. I know they've increased. I haven't sent them in since they've increed.
So even if
if you send over 50 cards, it used to be $10. It might be 12. It might be 15 now.
$165 $165. Let me see. Pokemon unlimited booster pack. I just want to see. Man, part of me wants to open up that pack so bad. Booster pack heavy. I just want to see what it's going for.
So right the way I would think about it, and this is me being like, I want to take the gamble at all times. So, take this with a huge grain of salt. You're up so much on the boxes you've already had. It'd be kind of like ripping for free. You know what I mean?
Well, and also I have you that I'm already mailing these to you in terms of the cards. So like every card I would open up would getting graded. To be real with you, dude, like if I don't get, like if I open that up separately, I don't know if I'm going to pay to get it graded. Like I'm already sending these into you in one swoop. Do you get what I'm saying here?
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know. I mean, let's just do it, dude. I'm feeling it.
Shit.
Let's go.
I wasn't expecting this. Holy shit. I was not expecting this.
Let's go. Just a second.
God, now like I feel solely responsible for this and I don't like this. Oh God, I was not expecting this. So this is the unlimited.
So I forgot I'm sending these to you.
What do you send?
The guy that I bought these cards from, he sent me 4 additional ones. So I have from the jungle set. So I have a Primeape, another Primeape right here.
Yeah, making a Primeape. Nice.
I have a Shadowless Grass Energy.
Nice.
A Pokeball Trainer.
Ooh, I always like that card.
And then the last one I have is a Mr. Mime.
Oh, nice.
So that's right there. I've got 4 plus the 11 right there. That's 15. So
are you gonna send all 15 of those?
I'm sending in all 15. Yeah, I'm gonna send in.
I'll double check them as well. I mean, again, like I'm fine. Even I haven't decided on if I'm gonna send them all in. I think eventually I will. I'm probably gonna pick like my favorite ones first, and then send the other ones over time.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm just gonna do all mine in one swoop. Oh God.
But yeah, even if they get like 6s and 7s, like I'm stashing them or displaying them.
So I want to show
you.
They're
just such cool artwork. That's what I love. That's what I love about these original sets. Some of like the new ones, obviously, like I wasn't into like the newer Pokemon, so I also couldn't get into the artwork. I guess like the Jigglypuff artwork is one of my favorite.
Whenever you're ready, I'm gonna crack this baby open. So here's what it looks like.
Okay, so you have. So this is non-first edition, correct? This is the unlimited.
This is the unlimited pack, the limited booster pack with Venusaur on the front. It is heavy.
And it's a heavy pack.
It is heavy. I'm about to weigh it again right now. It is. Let's see what this is weighing in at. Can you see that?
106. Yeah.
106. So that is a heavy. Okay. So I think this heavy right now. I think it's like $1,400 market value or something.
Hold on real quick. Let's see.
Yeah. Go ahead. Let me go ahead and pull this. See if I. Let's see, Pokemon Unlimited Booster Pack Heavy. Okay, here's one right now.
I'm seeing a lot of 2500s. I can't tell these are first edition. They're not. It's not in the description as first edition.
If it's I was gonna say if it's first edition, that stuff's selling for like 20 grand, dude, or 15 grand.
per
The
pack.
first edition packs, yeah. So like they're
Dude, I'm
selling
seeing
from,
a lot of 2,500,
let's see. I see this one right here.
400.
Booster
No, these are
Venusaur.
Charizards. Where's the Bulbasaur? I
I
mean,
was gonna say find the Venusaur because this one right here is a 20.97 and it's listed at 1,500. Oh,
okay,
this
so
one's
I've
2,000. That one's 2,000.
yeah, I'm looking at. No, these are a little heavier than what you have. There's two that ended on the 30th, one at 3,300 and the other one at 2,800. Now, of course, I'm not looking to see if these were shill bidded by any means. Like I'm not going actually into them.
Yeah,
There was a lot of, I saw like through social the past few days about how the unlimited Charizards have been obviously market manipulated. I don't know what those
Really?
prices are off the top of my head. So that may be why you're seeing the packs rise, because they literally are going from $2,000 to over $3,000 in about a week. So I'm
Wow.
looking on like October 26th, a pack that's a little bit heavier than yours, around or right at 2,100, and then going to 3,300.
Okay. This
So
this heavy one in auction sold for looks like about 1,200. Yeah, I mean either way, dude. About to crack open a $1,000 pack. Here we go. Here we go. Okay. Gonna open up this bad boy. I'm nervous just opening it, to be real with you. Here.
yeah, I'm so nervous right now. So I believe again, I could not tell you the last time I opened one of these. So I'm
Oh God.
assuming, I believe it's the same, 3 from the back.
3 from the back. And keep in mind, this is my second Pokemon pack I have ever opened
That's
in
exciting.
my entire life. Because I was really into baseball cards during the Pokemon craze.
Guys, bringing back such great memories. I think, was it like EB Games or something? Because he always used to go to them all. I guess I told you,
Wow.
I was obsessed with the Japanese cards. Like there was the original 96 set. What was the other one called? Something like Island. They had produced some like beautiful cards. I don't think a lot of people liked them, but I can't remember the exact name of the set. Something Island or Pokemon Island or something.
Okay, so I've already messed this up in terms of like where the rare one is. So we are just going to go with it. Okay, so right out of the gate.
Ooh,
Okay, so
War Turtle. Nice.
War Turtle.
That's a great pull.
So War
That's a great
Turtle.
pull.
Okay, we have a Pokédex trainer.
All right.
I'm literally not even gonna look at these. I'm just gonna put them up to the camera and see. We have a
Psychic Energy.
Psychic Energy. Okay, so energy and trainers. Okay, okay. We have a
little seal.
Seal.
Yeah, seal. With a Nidoran.
Nidoran.
Drowsy. Nice.
Drowsy. We have a
Trainer. What is that? Can't really tell.
It's
Can't
a potion. It's a potion.
Potion. Got you.
Potion. We have a
Ooh, a Bulbasaur and a War Turtle. Those are 2 nice pulls right there.
Go.
2 very nice pulls. So Bulbasaur being one of the starter Pokemon.
I was gonna say if I can get these
so
graded,
you got one starter. That's definitely. I mean, most of these probably will be, assuming what they look like. Onyx, nice.
Onyx.
Bulbasaur and then War Turtle. 2 great pulls. What we got?
De-evolution spray.
Evolution spray.
Okay, another energy.
Another energy, fire energy.
Okay, and then I guess there were no hollows in this one. That's it. But I mean, I feel like I don't know what those 2 cards are going for, the War Turtle and the Bulbasaur, but maybe if I can get those graded, I can make.
So real quick, what was your rare? I wonder if I can't remember. Again, I can't remember. How many cards are in these packs? 11, 10,
11, yeah.
So in the bottom right hand corner, see, do you have any that are marked with a star, like of this shape, like the very, very bottom right hand corner? I don't know what the
I have a diamond,
are.
a circle. I have diamonds and circles, and oh yeah, the trainer, the de-evolution spray. Huh.
It was okay. That's what I was thinking. That might have been what it was. Is obviously not the Pokeball. I can't remember what the other one was. Okay.
So that means that's a rare then.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
How was how do the Bulbasaur and the War Turtles look?
Okay, War Turtle centering is solid and no nicks.
Nice.
So Okay, so that's the War Turtle, but let me get to the Bulbasaur and see how those are looking. I guess I probably won't get these trainers and energies graded, right? Like those probably aren't worth getting graded.
I know first edition they still I don't know where they're at. I want to say around $100 on a PSA 10. Again, I haven't looked at the market, and at least on like the first edition or unlimited stuff, in probably 2+ weeks.
So
You might be
across
able to
those,
find like some of them under $100, but I'm not
so
sure.
across
Almost everything
those,
PSA 10 is over 100. Unlimited though, I'm not sure.
across those 2 packs, I spent $1,130. Count my grading thrown in there across. If I get every card graded and saying they're $15 a card, I'm into it at about $1,400. So
It'd be pretty good. I mean, I think
I,
where the price where you bought them at, you should profit quite a bit. I don't know like how much, maybe like 50%. Just eyeballing it. I just look at the Bulbasaur, excuse me. I think those were around 600, 650 on a PSA 10.
okay.
I'm trying to pull up War Turtle right now. And I don't know this. I don't know like what comes in each pack. Hold your War Turtle up for me.
I'm looking at Bulbasaur right now, dude. Centering is great. There's one tiny nick down in the bottom right-hand corner. Okay, holding up my War Turtle.
Yeah, I was
I
checking
don't
to see. I don't remember a limited packs. I know there's some shadowless cards. That looks like it has a shadow.
know.
So War Turtle on a PSA 10 looks like 120, 150-ish.
Well, then it probably would make sense to get it graded. Honestly, if they're selling for 100, if I can get it for $15 a card, combined with just sheer, I don't know. I mean, I think it's almost a no-brainer, except maybe like the energies. I don't know.
Yeah, so I think do you remember what you paid on that unlimited pack?
I paid a grand.
A grand for that?
Yep.
Okay.
So it was. I mean, it's
Yeah,
like I don't know.
with grading, you should be probably plus a couple $100, I would
Okay,
say.
cool.
And that's right now too. And so obviously we have any upward movement, obviously it's just going to increase on that. But again, that's under the assumption that like the Bulbasaur will be a 10 out of 10
Okay, okay.
potentially. And I don't remember. Did you say that one might have had a nick, or was that the War Turtle?
That was the War Turtle. Yeah, yeah. Like literally, I will get these mailed over.
So I paid for that Bulbasaur. I paid 40 or 45 raw for the Japanese version,
Wow.
and so I'm super excited because it looks pretty perfect.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm probably just gonna send over. I'm gonna look them up and see like, on the trainers and energies and stuff, just before I send them over and I have to go that route. But
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would. What I'm gonna do too is I would go ahead and look, and I can look over your cards when they get here as well. If there's anything that in your head and you can compare to like PSA 9s and PSA 10s on eBay and compare the condition in the case to your card and double check that would it make sense to get it graded, $15-ish to get it graded. Would that make sense? Is it better to sell raw, or do you want to hold on to any of them, etc., and just kind of make that decision based off of that?
okay, well then that's what I'll do then, and then I will get these sent over to you. Probably I'll get them out in the mail today,
Okay.
and then that way you can just have them, and I can just be rid of them. But yeah, man, wow, that was fun.
That wasn't it? Like
That was
that
a
makes me want to
blast.
go. That makes me literally want to hop on eBay and buy like another pack or two.
Right? It is fun. That is a
It's
ton.
so that's why I'm really liking obviously like the basketball, like some of the not the highest tier stuff, but some of the lower tier stuff. Like I think I told you I bought like the what is it, the optic basketball from this past year, just because I didn't think it was that expensive. Paid $160 for it. And I pulled one card that even if it gets like a 9 out of 10, that should bring at least back 140. So the rest of
Wow.
the cards that I decided to get graded, which there's probably like 5 or 6 of those. So I should be at least like I should have made like minimum $100, and it probably will make a lot more of that.
Wow. And you had some fun in the process.
Yeah, so excited. It goes by too quick though, is the thing. You know
Yeah,
what I
it
mean? Like
really
even
does.
just that's what I was like. I'm glad we kind of went like one by one when we're opening our packs, because it's like, man, this like 11 cards can go by so quick.
So quick, dude. Like, I know, man. It's absolutely crazy. Like, yeah. Well, I mean, I'll get these out, and then, man, I'm glad I opened these up though. I think in the long term, I think I'm gonna be up on these.
Yeah, long term. I mean, yeah, like even if you're getting like 9s on most of them, like long term, I see these, and that's why like I talk to you about like possibly like opening a pack, whatever. is like long term. I'm just gonna probably put them either in a lockbox or put them in a safe, or literally just display them. And then, if and when like the unlimited stuff does take off, if it's worth selling, or look into that.
Yeah, I don't know which one I'm gonna keep. I think I'm gonna keep one. I'm gonna keep one for just
Nostalgia.
like the nostalgia, dude. Be like, yeah, I opened up these packs that one time.
Yeah, and I don't know. I'm assuming you don't have anything like in graded cases. Like they're pretty cool.
Oh,
I
I mean,
love.
I remember seeing them when I was a kid at the baseball card shows, and it's sick.
Yeah, like I pull mine out like once a week just to kind of like look through them. One to look through and say, okay, do I need to sell anything? Like, has the market shot up like maybe unreasonably high or something like that? But two, just because it's like, I don't know. Like I love collecting things, and I have like that addictive personality. So I don't know, it's super cool.
And I've seen people like put them on their wall, especially
Mhm.
with Pokemon. Oh my God, it looks so fucking sick.
Yeah, and if you have a
Like,
little like man cave or something, it's
yeah,
a cool little addition. I mean, not obviously not everybody's going to like appreciate it, but it's still like, even if you still see a card in a case, it's still gonna like, you walk into the room, it's gonna kind of pique your curiosity of like, oh yeah, what is that?
yeah, like
And it's like,
what's
oh
going
man,
on
that's
here?
Pokemon. I remember playing the Game Boy game, 25 years ago.
Exactly, man. Yeah, I'm pumped to just get these graded, maybe make some dollars. Yeah, man. It's didn't get a Charizard or Snorlax, but that's not to be
Dang, can never get that
expected.
Snorlax.
Can
Always
never the
chasing.
eluded Snorlax. Nah, dude, I appreciate it, man. Yeah, that was hella fun. You'll have to keep
Yeah,
me
it was.
updated on your pack opening adventures.
I will. I'm gonna look today to see if I can buy another box. I have a few more cards. Like before I send out my shipment to PSA, I have a few more incoming, waiting on yours. So I might try to buy another box to open
Nice.
to kind of include that, I guess, with our grading submission.
Nice, dude. Yeah, well, I'll send these 22 cards over. Yeah, man, we'll have a good rest of your day, dude, and
Yeah,
keep
you
me
too, brother.
updated on the shit, dude, man.
For sure,
All right.
man.
Later, dude.
Peace.